peo con carole puan. Ti you like Gambian. Gambian Talent TV. In the peo con cacao fosa. Ti you like Gambian. Gambian Talent TV. In the peo con believe. Ti you like Gambian. The Baran Gambian Talent TV. In the pale kumbilingi, Ti you like Gambian. The Baran Gambian Talent TV. The Chirkarole Puar. Kanyan in the road.
La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah Gambia. Gambian talent ala barika. La ilaha illallah Gambia. Dawda jawara barika. Gambia man la jalima di ena get setan Gambian talent. Fila de. Bulen bay fi de. Fila feri nek.
Allah iba kuriya munna nafate kuriyala. Iba jauya munna nafate jauya labi. Iba kuriya munna nafate kuriyala. Nafigi la sila manja. Ula bambali la sila manja. Uya fala la sila manja. Ngomari masale bokelela. Nafigi la sila manja. Jakula bambali la sila manja. Uya fala la sila manja. Muna ngomari masale bokelela. Yo Gambia antalam albadi malam nena jeli suso. Njana bali janto bi Gambian talent show. Mamobe tantalam mal jayla aldal badi malam the queen of Manding. Nena jeli suso the golden voice. Wow. Mbal tantalam mal jayla bakin bafala liko albumo kanale. December on the Benjamin Hall. Akana fomo kom. Mashallah. Gambian talent show.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching or listening to us from. Welcome to the Gambian Talent TV. This is Pa Ousmane Diouf. We are here in Seattle, Washington, once again to have this exclusive interview with somebody that is doing a lot of things in the Gambia. His face is not new to Gambians around the world. Face à face la ñoko bay so may jakarlo ak askan wi nak fuñu way di sétane ci ñenenti ko ñu aduna penko xarpo ngop wala ngalandu ñu ngi lay nuyu rek am the pleasure to sit with our dear brother Mr. Ousainou Sosseh.
Thank you so much, Pa Ousmane. Very happy to be here. I'm a big fan of the show as well. Happy to be in Seattle. Seattle is near to there and dear to me because I have family here. And fortunately, we have a lot of Gambians here, and we're on a mission to at least bring a lot of good information regarding real estate to our Gambian brothers and sisters that are living in the diaspora. So I'm happy to be around, and I'm happy to be on your show as well.
Are you here to see family and friends and Gambians, or are you here to collect millions from family and friends? ñoko bay su lañ wax de
wa loolu lañ wax waaye nag xam nga lu nekk rek fii moom gars yi fi nekk kenn mënu leen a nax te soo ñëwee yaakaar naa ne nga isi ay solution si problème yi nit ñi loolu rek njëriñ la den leneen du si toppa it duñ si mer waaye daal li ñu ñor mooy pour ñu ñëw knowing ne suñ mbokk yu bari fi di liggéey and working very hard and trying to earn a piece of property or land back home. And they have been reaching out to us, being the pioneers of real estate and people having comfort that we do things right. We had a lot of Gambians that are living in Europe, in the US, that have wanted to know what's right. If they want to buy a property, what's the right way to go about it? If they want to build a house, what's the right way to go about it?
Protect for Salaho, we'll come back to that. I want to go personal a little bit to ask you about yourself. Ousainou Sosseh.
Wow.
Tell us about yourself. Who is Ousainou Sosseh?
Well, I'm a simple Gambian, born and raised in the Gambia. I pretty much came and got educated here in the US. Spent about 18 years here, had my degrees, and decided to go back home to the Gambia work for TAF Africa Global as a regional manager. We are in 8 African countries, and my role is to oversee the operations in those countries.
In all these 8 countries?
Yes, we have operations in Nigeria and the Gambia. We're registered in the other 8 countries.
Hamnane, you are a twin.
Yes.
Where's your twin brother?
That's a good question, because Hamgarek affaire is Sheikh Mom. Together. So my twin brother is the other regional manager. So actually the company has 2 regional managers. But you know, when people hear that, they say, well this is it's easy. But if you look at our CVs in the US, we've worked for many corporations here, and we've actually worked for the same corporations in different roles, but at high capacities as well. So our qualifications, Santa Yalla, have brought us to these places. But if we were brought into this world together, why not work together?
So you both have the same qualification or different backgrounds?
Different, similar. Asan has, we both studied business administration. Asan's concentration is in finance. Mine is in management. But Bena Darabila ak Bena went to the same universities and everything else.
Wow. Life in the US we are not going to talk about. You went back to the Gambia after 18 or 19 years. You guys went back together or separate?
It was relatively around the same time.
Around the same time.
Asan went first a little bit, and then I went next. But the distance wasn't too much in between. Yeah.
What would you say to the suggestion that Mustafa Njai, sen uncle, whatever relationship, you feel family nice, nepotism, just because it's family. People who would say, "Nay, you guys don't deserve the position. You're just giving this because stuff is family and wants to support family." In any way, but then what would be your reaction to people who say, "Well, it's not fair"? I mean, there are 1,000 other Gambians, qualified Gambians, who TAF could have hired, but then he hired you, his family, to come and take over these responsibilities.
I mean, I think but at the end of the day, the company has been in existence for close to 30 years now. And at some point, the brand will be bigger than the individual. And what matters is continuity, to ensure that the business survives generations and generations. There's nothing wrong with working with family, but I think what trumps that is the competence and the ability to come in and do the job that's needed to be done. And whether it's family or not, whoever is the most qualified deserves to be in that position. Why not? If we are working for other companies at high levels and doing it for them, it makes sense to come back home, whether it's a family company or another company, long as it's a Gambian company, that we can lend our expertise and also prove ourselves. I think that there's nothing wrong with that. How people see it, we cannot, it's their prerogative. But our company doesn't only hire, actually, if you look at our staff, the number of people that we have in high positions that are not, anybody that works for TAF, we consider you family.
Yeah, bro. So do you feel Alar? It's good to empower family. But out of all the 2 million Gambians, Ousainou and Hassan are the most qualified to run the regional management for TAF Africa Global?
They did. No. Ku nekk rek soo xoolee ne yow yaa fi mun si dara wala yaa fi dara de di nga juum.
Bro, uncle bi daf leen favor rek. Let's agree. Uncle, TAF is your uncle and decided let me support my nephews. I mean, it's important to support my nephews.
Xam nga su fekkee da nga support sa whoever, nephew ku munti doon, te fekk fi nga ko teg mun na faa toog, then loolu doo juum.
So what did you bring to TAF since you became the regional manager? What did you and Hassan bring into TAF since you became regional managers?
Yeah, the thing is, we're lucky to have Mr. Njai as the CEO, who has a lot of foresight and have worked very hard to take the company to where he is. And that foresight trumps just building houses. It was to ensure that he puts things in place that people can come in and just simply follow those footsteps. So, to get into what I brought, what I didn't bring, I think that would be looking inward. But
not looking inward, not necessarily.
I'm answering your question, but I think needless to say that it's a collective effort. We are a team. We have many people, as low as the people that are opening the doors, to as high as people that are signing the checks. Everyone does their part, and that is what makes the company what it is today. But it starts with the vision that Mr. Njai has put in place.
That is true. But when you came in as regional manager, you and Hassan, what did you bring? What are some of the achievements that TAF has gone through, whether it has to do with empowering staff, whether it has to do with building capacity? Of course, as far as the projects are concerned that you have successful in, they might have been struggling in certain things as a company, and then you guys came and put that in shape. I mean, what can you tell us? That TAF is just signing checks for you guys just because his nephews, and he doesn't want you to depend on him generally, and he said, okay, let me just do this and bring them on board.
No, Paus man, lolu mom. Xam nga ne I don't think ne Mr. Njai dina liggéey bu bari bi yépp isi ko xam ne jarbaat wala doom wala raka wala mbokk ku munti doon dina jox cek rek te defuloo dara. So again, we have worked in many capacities in the West, from banking to project management to many other things. We know how to manage teams, how to manage projects, how to negotiate contracts. I've had my own business. But lolu yep, I think ne li am njëriñ mooy li ñu fa teg te def ñooñu ko ñu ngi see jéem di si béy suñ waar ak keneen koo xam ne mu ngi si company bi we are a family te benn nit mënu dara ñun ñëpp ku nekkaa ngee seet rek naka ngaa mun a advance the cause of the company ba pare vision bi nga xam ne Mr. Njai has put it in place ku nekk béy si sa waar to make it happen.
Fair enough. Fast forward, yes, you and Hassan came and you both managing for TAF. You guys doing a lot of projects there in real estate. Real estate is very chaotic in Gambia.
Wow.
There are so many real estate companies.
Wow.
What differentiates TAF from other real estate companies?
I think if you ask the customers that buy from us, they actually will tell you more than I can tell you. But bottom line, I can just pick a few things. And when I say these things, kune correct amno for dore and where you're going. And we know that Gambia, the economy is relatively small compared to other countries, but we still have a long way to go in many areas, especially with housing. There's a deficit. So it's going to take multiple players. So TAFREC is not going to solve it alone. We need everybody to put hands together. Having said that, I think now we need to make sure that if we are doing operating in the business, we do it the right way, and we also make sure that there are things put in place that consumers will not be hurt. I think Lul is the fair thing, whether it's TAF or anybody else. But what makes us different is that Mr. Njai has gone through the ropes. He started as a carpenter and a mason. He was a site foreman. Dafa liggéey ak loxoom yi, and def béy waaram daal ba nga xam ne fi mu nekk mun naa fedde géew mu company. So I think that experience served him well to ensure that if he's going to build a house, it's built the right way. If you're going to set up an estate, you think about all the things that people wouldn't see. The drainage systems, the water reticulation, make sure that everything is done to standard. And I think our experience, what we have done over the years in Gambia, in Nigeria, all of that put together has given us the capacity that we can do things that most other real estate companies cannot do. But ultimately, we own up to our product. Every house we sell it as if we are going to live in it. And if it doesn't meet our standard, we don't want our customer, even if they don't see the problems, to point it out for us. And if there's a problem that's pointed out, we own up to it and we fix it at our cost, knowing that that person has worked hard to ensure that this is the property that they want. If we have to give you a title, the title that we give you, you can take it to the bank. You will not buy a house from TAF and say that did I kid gives more boss or the boss or can. So we make sure that we do things the right way, and I think that has served us well over the years.
Fair enough. You seem to be very proud of your Nigeria project, and you talk about it on the internet. Yesterday, during your deliberation, you talked about it, and so far you mentioned it 3 times. How did TAF get to Nigeria?
Well,
how did TAF ended up going to Nigeria?
I think everything. This probably would be best answered by Mr. Njai himself, but I can attempt it a little bit. When we started growing and we started building estates, we realized that we were doing something right and could actually expand in other continents or other countries rather. And so the World Bank actually recommended Mr. Njai to the River State government because they wanted to also build a housing development and had other interests that they wanted to accomplish in that. But they recommended Mr. Njai. We went, he went and talked to them, and they were able to come up with what's called a public-private partnership and created RIF-TAF, which is River State and TAF. Long story short, in the southern part of Nigeria, and if you understand Nigeria and how things work, generally, if estate starts or projects start, it's very rare that you find one that is completed. And that's just because there are so many issues that happen on the ground politically. But, Santayala, we are very proud to say that as a Gambian company, we went into a very difficult part of Nigeria. If you ask most Nigerians that know River State and Port Harcourt, they'll tell you. And we were able to deliver an estate that Nigerians are proud about, let alone Gambians.
Bro. What has been talked about is that Yaya Jammeh, former president, gave TAF some contracts. They didn't agree, and TAF was scared. And Yaya Jammeh is the one who drove him out or kicked him out of the country. The TAF,
Why? The funny
so Yaya Jammeh has no hand in TAF going to Nigeria.
TAF musuta daw dem fen. Buyaya Jammeh ak whoever the former government was there, we were still in the Gambia. We were still selling houses. We were still doing our other businesses. So
TAF and when TAF came, we've seen TAF and President Adama Barrow on TV. We've seen the initiative. We've seen when he was invited, when he actually went to present the award that we are giving to them from Nigeria. We've heard the things that Mustafa said. The relationship wasn't all, with the former government. But they started good. They were given an opportunity, but it didn't end well.
Wow, why hanga pause man lena dafa am gis nga lo xamne lu romba la ñun ñep suma toge fi di wax ne suñ the former regime nu melon we were happy about it lolu nax sa bop la
but then we cannot hide it, we cannot throw it under the rug though.
Can no boot. But the reality is lo xamne la ñun ñep xamne ne it could have been a lot better, and it wasn't. And Gambians do tough wreck, but everybody else looked at other ways when life will move on. We survived it, and we are proud to put our head high. And ñëw nañ and bu regime bi change as a Gambian company. Actually, we were thinking about building our corporate office in Nigeria. But when the regime changed, we know the Gambians had to build Gambia. And we came back home, and we came back with pride to say we need to contribute our quota to develop the country.
What did TAF do to make Yaya Jammeh send TAF parking? To send TAF parking, to TAF to go to Nigeria?
Yaya Jammeh that question.
You are the manager. How you guys ended up in Nigeria? You should know the history, how you ended up in Nigeria. You are proud of the achievement, right?
No. But I've told you, we were recommended by the World Bank to go to River State.
So it's just the World Bank recommendation, that's it?
Well, xam nga Pausman, su fekkee ne tey ñun gis nañ ne there is a market in Nigeria. We see that we can go and use our expertise and provide solutions and sell houses. Xam nga loolu benn si idea yi la. Xaaral ma ñëw rek.
We are proud of.
Waaw xam nga loolu benn la. Su fekkee ne am na ñeneen ñu gis suñ liggéey, gis ne defar nañ di AU villas, which is 52 presidential villas in a very short period of time, and met all the specifications. Ñëw nga Brufut, gis nga estate bi nu mel. Nga dem Yarambamba lu yaaga, gis ne def nañ fa a mature estate that people are living. ñu ne ñii nag they are a credible company, Gambian at that have done this in the Gambia. Let us use their expertise and capacity to come and do it in Nigeria. Xam nga loolu is another reason ñu recommend ñu dem si beneen dëkk gis ne fii nag ñun lu ñoo wax dal na seen xel. Te bëgg yaakaar nañ ne war nañoo mën a def lu ñoo wax. These are all reasons why yow fi nga bëgg a jànd moo tax loolu foog naa loolu ay yeneen xalaat.
But then this is something that is out there. People talk about it. Okay, TAF had a problem with the former government. They were given a chance. They messed up the opportunity. He messed up the opportunity, collected millions of dollars. I mean, for projects that never delivered or whatever it is. There was problem between Mustafa Njai, TAF Construction, and the former government.
No, I think the ñun moom. We can hold our head high as a company that to date, anywhere we go, our record can speak for itself. You will never see a project that TAF has abandoned because of any other reason. When we start our projects, we commit to it. And that's why we are where we are today.
Just not long ago, we published this list of properties that Yaya Jammeh has in Gambia. So, could it be that, okay, Yaya was trying to get TAF into, trying to get into some of those things, and Mustafa refused as far as his properties, well, to get into some dubious type of businesses that Mustafa refused, and he was threatened by that? Could it be that?
Could it be nag mom lolu mom xamna ne munuma say could it be suma su bëggé tonto I'm gonna open a no that didn't happen. No, that didn't happen. Look, we at the end of the day we believe in ourselves. We know what we are capable of, and we are righteous. Whatever we do the right way. And I think even if we wanted to do things the wrong way, it would have backfired or put us in a much worse situation. Today there is a commission. We were called in the commission, TAF was, and just in few hours there was nothing else to be shown. Everything that we have done, we have records of, and it's very clear and it's out. And we knew this because that's who we are as individuals. I'm not in So we've done all the things that we're supposed to do the right way and in open.
Good.
And so I think we can hold our head high today that no matter which regime it is, we are trying to make sure that we focus on solutions for Gambia and the Gambians. And
fair enough. Let's fast forward. Still, New Dem Chitaf Rek, you said you are the first real estate agency in the Gambia, 30 years of experience. What is your suggestion to, what is your reaction to the suggestion or the thing out there by other real estate agencies who would think, okay, well, TAF is just trying to take advantage of the situation. They're out there telling people things that don't exist, just for damascene laugh, right? Just to be able to, suppress us that you are taking advantage of whatever that you guys have, opportunities that you have.
No, I think Gambians are smart enough. If we create stories that don't exist, we will be in an island by ourselves, believing our own stories. And we actually need, if we care about Gambia, TAF alone cannot solve or do everything real estate in the Gambia. Today, we have Gambians that were contractors, that are our contractors, that used to work for us, and we encourage them to get their own companies. We don't look at that as, oh, they are coming to take, but we give them works. We want Gambians to actually work for Gambia, be innovative, whether it's in real estate or any other sector. So if we, I think that, fiñ dem sant yàlla daal fiñ loolu romb nañ ko. And lu ñu war
so you are not in competition with any of them.
Li ñu war mooy pour ñu ensure ne if there is a Gambian that wants to play in the industry, if we cannot support you, we shouldn't stop you. And we encourage Gambians to actually get into real estate. Look, it's one of the most basic necessities that people want is to have somewhere to live. And there are many things to do within the industry. It's not just selling housing. There's the construction bit, there's the agency bit, there is the developer bit, there is the supplier bit. There's so many things. And the more you get people get involved, the more you can be innovative, the more that will provide solutions and widen the stakes.
In fact,
so we actually want, I want people to know this, that we want Gambians to actually get into real estate and also help the country forward. We just want to make sure that everybody do it honestly and the right way.
I was going to ask you the transformation, the rebranding. Growing up, I knew it as tough construction, tough construction.
Yes.
And it's even still in my head. Whenever I am to write anything about tough, I would be tempted to write tough construction. But then, so from tough construction, that means he started by only doing construction, right?
Yes. So I mentioned the history. Prior to even forming tough construction, he worked at Balfour Beatty.
Okay.
And again, mooy rek li ñoo wax nga dem nekk nangoo nekk taalibe. You know, jàng métier bi. Not just theoretically, but in practice. Xam lu nekk naka lañ ko defee. And he's very passionate about that. So waxee tey dafa laa wax ne soo ko joxoon ay banta léegi nii mu dooral la taabul ak toogu. Te mun na ko. And the funny thing is, if you go with him, he comes to the office and spends maybe 10%. Most of the time he's on the field. And that's because that's what moves him. That's what he's passionate about. But anyway, he did his apprenticeship, went through Balfour Beatty, was a site foreman, managed sites, worked for Sosseh and Sons, and then 1990 he created Tough Construction Limited. Moving on, he then created Tough Holding Company because we started doing building material supplies, Tough Bell, equipment rentals, and many other things. So we needed to have a holding company. Then we later changed it to Tough Africa Homes because at the time in 2012 we looked at Nigeria, and then we needed to go beyond just.
See, I just sent you parking in 2012.
But anyway, so we created Tough Africa Homes, and later on we knew that our business can do more than just houses, so we went Tough Africa Global, and that's just because of the recognition that we have and some of the things that we can do at a much later stage. So the company name is Tough Africa Global.
Now,
if you go on our website or any other platform, that's what you'll see. And
that has all the other components still within it.
Yes. So
you still do the building materials. You have your warehouses. You still do construction.
Actually,
and all.
We don't have a building materials supply store. Actually, we used to have a physical store before, but we don't have that anymore.
Okay.
We used to have Tough Bell, which was a hotel. We don't have that anymore. Our goal now is to look at how can we provide as many houses to as many Africans, not just Gambians, as possible. Because we have a vision to build 1 million houses over the next 20 years.
Wow.
And to do that, it's going to take a lot of effort and focus on housing.
This is good. We cannot be prouder of Tough and the team for having that big dream. Denjane Gambians, they dream big. We always dream low or think we cannot achieve this or we cannot get to this level. But then that is good. So Tough leads in short and others follow. Is that what you're telling us?
No, I think we focus on what we do. Look, we don't get naive that we are the biggest, we are going to stay the biggest. At the end of the day, if we don't provide solutions to Gambians or our customers, somebody else will, and they will take it over, they will go.
That's a fair analysis.
If we provide value and we do it with a clean heart, and we always look at ways that we say that lu baaxut pour ñun, lu baax pour keneen, lu gën si ñun, moo gën si keneen, and we have that approach and put that at the back of our minds that at the end of the day we are Gambians and we have to make Gambia proud, better, build the country. If we do that, everything else will fall in place.
But what the real estate agents would say that, okay, Tough Gambia, Dukubi, bribing the government, bribing the president, giving him homes, giving him cars, supporting anything that the presidency is doing or government, just to be able to win favors, to be able to get contracts. What would you say? What can you tell us about that? I mean, because okay, president was giving cars that he gave to the National Assembly members. So people say, okay, anonymous donor gave it. They don't want to mention that. And several other favors that they are talking about. Okay, businesses will give to presidents. Right after the swearing in, he was offered a house there. Tough doesn't engage in such things, trying to patronize government to win contracts.
No, I think everything we do is in the open, and we are proud of it. If someone says that Tough gave cars to the National Assembly members, maybe they should give me the receipts.
It's not the National Assembly. I just mentioned that one. Anonymous donor.
No, but I think to answer your question, look, we have to be transparent in the way we do business. The reason why the former government was here and left, we're still here. Governments will come and go. At the end of the day, ñun meet pour please. More the customers that want to buy from us, and also provide solutions to people's problems. If we focus on that and work hard and do it the right way, everything else will fall in line. We have to work with governments because we are also one of the biggest. So where we feel like we can add value, we will approach government. But nothing as a favor. Anything that we do, for example, we have the Gaitaf project. It's the biggest infrastructure project in the Gambia. The funny thing is that project, we bid for it openly, and we won the bid.
I was going to ask if you bid for projects.
Yes, we bid and we won it. No, I mean because no, because you know, so defe lo xamne warulo ko def. Then you never do mëna nek du nëbb dara da ngay nek du nëbb rek. So but I think that if you do things the right way, Lisa was ding ko am. When we bid for that project, we won the bid and it was buried. It wasn't given to us. Okay. But we knew that we did the right thing and we left it. When the new government came in, they reopened the files and they noticed that they had a bid and we won the bid and it was there. And they did not only that, they went back again, they opened the bids, and they did their own due diligence. They traveled all the way to Nigeria to not just say, Tough is a Gambian company, can he do it? But they looked at our project. They looked at what we did for another country in Nigeria and saw the level of development that Gambians did. And based on all those checks, they realized, okay, we're not just giving it Tough because he's Gambian, but we're giving it to a developer that has a competent capacity to come in and deliver on this project. And we took more risk in doing that than the government. So to say that Tough dafa bribe fee, well, I think no lolu koko helat hidna fala helam tolu. But ñun for us, again, we are a company that wants to be here for a long time. We know that to do these things, you have to do it the right way. So any day that you have wake up at night or finger oye, dinga muna talk nga wax li nga def te nga am si jàmm. And really, that's what guides our company.
Di ñi ci gannaaw kër yi toog di lefen. And hey, wow, Tough mom wax dëgg neex yàlla. You can take anything away from them. But they build good houses. There are properties, there are places. If you look at it, I mean, that's where everybody wants to live. Why not? Then share. What is your reaction to people who think Tough is a very expensive company? What is your reaction to people who have that belief?
No, I think I'll be very happy to answer that. And the reality is, I don't blame the people that say that. And that's just because they're speaking from their pain point. You know, if you earn $3,000 a month and we tell you we're selling you a house, even if we gave it to you at cost, you will still not be able to afford it. And so for them, it's an expensive house. I think that for the reality is, if you look at construction and you look at what anyone can sell a house for instance, if you put us on the same land and tell us to build a house, and have someone else build a house, we will build at cheaper cost than we are confident that we will.
Really?
Yes. Now the reality is that building in the Gambia is expensive. We don't make most of the materials to build, so we have to buy them at open market rates. Cement, we know that everybody knows what the prices are. You want to buy tiles or paint or everything else. These are things that we don't set the prices. The prices are there based on market conditions. And so we have to play in it. I think the reality is Gambians, their earning powers are low. But I think this is an area where we think government can actually drive the agenda.
It sound like President Barode last year when the government spent over $200 million on travel expense in 6 months, and he came back to the country. He was asked, he's like, oh, then $200 million is no money. No. So are you saying that?
No. I actually sympathize with the Gambians because Sosseh Lindan Sampa before. Our focus now is to actually build affordable houses. So kër yu rëy yiñ daan sampa mun nañ ko sampa ba léegi, but we are not even marketing that. We are trying to see how can we put houses accessible to as many Gambians as possible. So ku nekk rek li nga yëg yaa ko xam.
So what's the average? The people in the diaspora are your client. That's why you are in Seattle, or big MDs, ak ñi nga xamne ñoy bossy companies. The average person working, the government messenger, or somebody that is working as a driver in one of the companies will not be able to afford a house from Tough Nak. Let's be honest.
Fan la mëna jëndé kër?
Not from Tough. Okay, what's your cheapest plot of land or service plot?
Xam nga waxtaan bi.
You even
no, waaye xam nga dañoo waxtaan. Waaye danga maa may rek. Dañoo waxtaan. Xam nga léegi danga ma ne. ku nekk driver fee na. yow yaa ma wax loolu.
Waaw.
ba pare ne ma du mun a jënd kër sax. man laaj la fan laa mun a jëndee kër.
Well, Tough is not part of those. You might be able to afford a house.
xam nga Pao
from what they say. ñoom ñoo ko wax de du man
yow xam nga yow ñi laa déglu dañ bari. te xam nga suñoo wax foog ñu wax ñu leer pour nit ñi xam ko.
waaw moo tax ma laaj man askan wi laay waxal.
waaw waaye xam nga
li ñoo laam-laamee.
kii daan dooleem. di def di aan ñaxaam si lu lew. te lim bëgg a mooy fi mu dugal njabootam. fi mu dem am fa jàmm ak famille am. loolu loo xam ne daf koo ñor. soo ko waxee ne yow kër doo mun a am kër dafa mel ni den yaa ngi koo xeeblu wala yaa ngi koo wax loo xam ne yow éenewuloo ko li nga éene sa bopp. The reality is Gambian the salary and you can look at the numbers on this. The average salary or median salary in the Gambia is less than $4,000.
Absolutely.
A month. And loolu soo seetee li kër di jar. waxuma la kër rek waaye suuf ak lim àndal yëpp li moo jar. daf laa óor ne ku la ne mën nga see jënd kër. den nax na la. loolu mooy dëgg.
to ñu xam suñ. nañ xam seen boppa daal in short
ci la.
rafetal loo yëf yi da nga koo rafetal rek. nañ xam leen seen boppa.
non waxuma ne look listen doo li ma wax lu wér la. lu tax may wax loolu mooy. ki wax ne kër gi dafa cher. wala waxuma la kër taf rek de kër si boppam dafa cher. wax na dëgg parce que si loolu la foofu la dooleem toll. and façon yi su xewee. ñun gis nañ loolu in other countries. dafa am ñuy jóg ñu make sure ne naka la ñoo jàppalee ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi si suuf te mënuñ. ñëpp nag dañ si am wàlla. muy government muy developer. muy financial institutions. ak even nit ñi nga xam ne ñooy jënd dañ si am wàlla am na loo xam ne war nañ koo gëstuwaat. pour seet ne waa lii nii lañ ko bëggee waaye war nañ koo jàngaatee neneen pour mu mun a ne. and ñun dañ dee yëngu si yooyu. doguma la waaye pour dem soo xoolee last year we had a TAFCON suñ conference event buñ dee def. and we brought a topic about exactly this thing because dañ ko dee déggal lu bari si askan wi. ñu ne nañ waaw mais ma jekkale rek pour ma daaneel. ñu ne dañ si waxtaan. and askan wi lu ñuy wax. amul rek si ne. kër tax dañ ne nag ñoom mënuñoo jënd kër. te dañ am pour seet and liñ gis rek mooy kii sampa moo ko war a wàññi. te fekk suñ ubbee waxtaan bi. ku nekk li la war nga wax ko ci. dañ dina tax nit ñi gën a xam. pour ñu seet naka la ñoo essayer solution. loolu moo important. waaye ñi si war a dox. ëpp na taf rek. government dafa am a big role ñoo am the biggest role to play. and we will encourage them. soo seetee social security. dañ daan def ay kër. waaye ñoom seen boppa soo leen laajee ndax dinañ mën a provide kër pour kuy earn $4,000 a month. te they are part of a government body. dañ la wax ne duñ ko mun. they cannot do it. what they do is xëy na nañ mën a defar. ñu xaala fenn def fa ay yoon. ba pare xëy na ñu joxe laan. den ku nekk nag ngay korte di sampa. loolu moo ne. waaye ñun li ñu ñor mooy buñ ko bàyyee government rek war nañoo seet naka la ñoo mun a make sure ne ñuy jéem every day pour kër yi gën a accessible. wala sax laan wala leneen lu mënti doon. an moo tax ñu def mortgage. tey Gambia ñun lu ñoo def si mortgage. amu fa woon. te ñoo ko fa isi. te dañ work with the banks. pour make sure ne ñi nga xam ne xëj na am seen doole jotul seen gannaaw pour ñuy mun a fay. upfront. am nga lu up to 10 years pour nga mun a fay. loolu keneen defu ko ñun ñoo ko fa isi. and banks yi loolu mooy seen liggéey waaye dañ dem waxtaan ak ñoom yokkal leen xalaat. ñu ut pexe. ba nga xam ne ñu ngi mun a def loolu. loolu yokkute la si mun a seet pour mun a def ne kër dina moo accessible. and sonnuñ si ñu ngi gën a seet yeneen jéego yu ñoo def pour make sure ne loolu na happen. waaye lu ñu ñor daal mooy naka la ñoo mën a make sure ne as many Gambians have access to housing as possible.
So is tough expensive or it's not expensive?
It's not expensive.
Okay, what's the cheapest plot of land or the cheapest house that tough sells.
léegi tontu bi moom xam naa yow du la neex waaye képp ku bëgg a xam loolu defal la rek ku bëgg a xam loolu parce que li ñoo jaay dafa bari te am nañ different sites léegi ku bëgg a xam suñ kër yi dangaa dem suñ website di nga gis suñ contact soo reach out to ñun niñ la assure ne value for money we have the best so loolu daal
so you have any plot that's less than $100,000
value for money we have the best
yéen a ngi déglu di seetaan face à face na ko Ñoxo Baay show Pa Ousmane Diouf jàkkaarloo tey of course my guest is Mr. Ousainou Sosseh the regional manager for Tough Africa Global, a company that we are proud of. Definitely, they are doing a lot and have been doing a lot. It's good to have Gambians do these things. They provide employment for a lot of Gambians. If nothing, that alone is worth commending. And yes, that's who we are sitting with here in Seattle, Washington. So thank you for watching and for.
But we have a foundation. And this is not about selling houses, but this is something that Mr. Njai is proud of. And we're doing many initiatives under the foundation. And I think that as Gambians, like I said earlier, ñun rek ñoo mëna liggéey Gambia. Li uté nak dama bëgg jaay kër wala dédé. And we think ne the Gambians can play a better role in helping develop Gambia. Waxuñ nak ne ku nekk ci biti nga ñibsi. Ku mëna ñibsi mën nga ñibsi. Ku mënta ñibsi mën nga seet lan nga mën fi nga ne. Beyond just helping your family members pour ñu mëna liggéey Gambia mu jëm kanam.
Tondina la contact for Gambian Talents Foundation so that we do some work together.
So if one wants to know about our foundation, wala ling ma laaj kër ñaata la wala lan ñaata la, xaar ma bàyyi suñ website bi, which is www.toughafricaglobal.com. That's toughafricaglobal.com. Wala su fekkee da nga bëgg a xam suñ foundation bi lépp lu ñoo yëngu te bari na. Waxtu mi duma ko may pour ma dugg si waaye mun ngaa dem si toughafricafoundation.org and I think ne ñaar yi ku bëgg a xam lu ñoo yëngu daal di nga si mën a dem nga gën see jàng lu bari.
Jërëjëf Ousainou. Let's move on. Real estate is, now we talk about Tough a little bit. Real estate is so chaotic in Gambia right now. You feel buying land, owning land, it's just so chaotic. And I'm happy to tell you that Gambian Talents is doing an investigation on these land issues. We've been contacted by so many people. And I hear you mention some of these things in your video that you did, your interviews, and also during your presentation about how families are affected by these things. You have people that will come and say, my family members are taking advantage of me. I send them money and they didn't deliver. Or the real estate agencies that are not delivering. It's just too chaotic, honestly, relying on people, your loved ones. So people's hopes are shattered. Everybody wants to have a land, but it's just chaotic. We've seen what happened in Gunjur a couple of weeks ago, all related to land. We've seen what happened in Tanene. We've seen what happened in Dian village, where all these land issues is just chaotic in the country right now. And in my analysis, in my Luta Gambian, so I say if we are not careful, land can bring some fight, to better put it, war into the Gambia, because this is something that is dear to the people. But then it's just unfortunate. You in the land business, what can you tell us? How do you see this?
No, I think, look, you know, with all seriousness aside, this is a very serious issue. It's a serious issue, and we see it all the time. To be honest, the reason why we said let's pay our tickets and do this show, this symposium in all these states, is strictly because we have so many Gambians that are working hard, that call us and tell us, I have a land somewhere, I thought it was mine, I'm starting to build it, but then someone came and said it's theirs. And this is my life savings, now it's going to delay my possibility of coming home. Or I bought a land somewhere, and now I sent money to have someone build it for me, and they didn't build what I like, or the structure is not strong, or what they promised me. So there are so many stories, and these are life and serious issues, because, you know, having, like we said, buying a house is not cheap. And if you work most of your life to just get this piece of property that you can come home and say, this is mine, I retire, and you realize after spending all this hope, time and money that it's not yours, or what you expected didn't happen, it can impact you significantly. And this is not good for Gambia, because these are Gambians. So for us, how I would define success in what we're doing is to come and sensitize the Gambians and educate them on what we know. But I think to the point you raised, there is really a crisis and there needs to be a much bigger intervention. And obviously there are authorities that, that have that responsibility. And so we call on the government to look into regulation, because that
where is the problem? You are in the business.
Yes.
Tell us. Let's have a frank conversation. This is affecting our country. You are in the business. Where does the problem lies?
No, I think I cannot come here and tell you all the problems. What I know is I can tell you what we hear and what we see on the ground. But we know that there is a challenge with people when you have freehold or customary land, because you have a lot of family members that own big parcels of land, and sometimes you will have either agents or even the other entities that come in and through a transaction start demarcating and selling. And when they do, maybe titling issues can happen and people can falsify documents. There are so many loopholes that happen there that creates its own sets of challenges. And then you have some people that, because they don't know, thought that they have proper title and they didn't. And
I talked to a real estate agent, a real estate owner, who told me it's the physical planning, the way they do their demarcation and a lot of things. The problem mostly is at physical planning. Is that something you can confirm?
No, for me, you know, you have to understand too, as an industry leader, we want everyone to be successful. And so I cannot pinpoint and call out any one institution or agency. What I do know that is the entire process needs to be looked at. From the players that are agencies or companies that are playing a role, from the government authorities that are vetting companies that are coming in and also issuing the documents, and everything else needs to be looked at.
But is it not that every land in the country belongs to the government, belongs to the Gambia government? Like we have the customary land issue that you talked about. We've had an interview with the magistrate of Kanifing Court, Magistrate Adamasila, and he did talk about some of these things. The biggest challenge that they have is the customary land issue, where people will claim my great-grandfather owns this plot of land, and then now their great-grandkids are actually claiming that land or just take the land and sell it. For example, what is happening in Indian village, where a family in Sanyang have proper documentation that were provided to them by the court. Gunjur has people in Gunjur have proper documentation as the owners of the land, but you have families that live there for over 100 years. I mean, it's a very complex situation.
It is. I mean, I am not a lawyer. So xam nga soy wax da nga wax lo xamne lu wor la su defé so tedé nelaw.
Wa yaangi daw de.
No, dama wax lu ma xam. So, you know, there are subject matter experts in this area that are maybe deal with land and ownership and title. The reason why I said I think the solution, at least in my humble opinion, is that we need to look at the entire process and all the stakeholders in that process and make sure that we correct all these loopholes.
But what do you think should be corrected? If you just say all the stakeholders, what should be corrected? Tell us the solution. I think the solution.
I think my recommendation would be it has to start with people that are selling the lands. Because xam nga su fa land yi nekkee wala ñu naan kii moo ko moom wala keneen moomu ko ki koo jaay they need to make sure ne balaa ngaa mun a jaay land you check off these things that are agreed upon that would ensure ne it protects the people. So I think that's one solution. So if you are an agent or if you want to sell land, you cannot just get up. You don't know anything about the industry. You go and people you didn't vet it right, and then you design something very nice and start marketing it, and the people that don't know also buy and start building, and they lose their hopes.
That's the designing for the physical planning. Designing. Why wax nga design bi fa la tooli foofu la ci design gi
xam nga foog ñu déglu wante foog ñu déglu wante danga ma laaj fu ñoo commencé waxuma ne foofu laa em waaw xam nga sooy defal dara nga ne benn boor rek ngaa fatee te xooluloo yëpp di nga juum so wax naa la fu ñoo commencé si suma opinion The next place be more the authorities that play a role, be it physical planning, be it Ministry of Land, be it Ministry of Justice. All these government entities have to come in. You look at ñoom naka la ñoo operaté. Then full loophole nekka ñu plug ko. Nga xam ne not only dinañ am di lu leer lu nit ñi xam ne lii soo ko defee mooy the only way keneen mënu ko defee neneen.
A system, a proper system.
But not only that, ñu digitalize everything about land. So if you, me, the broker, ku munti doon soo bëggee xam ne dama bëgg a jënd land si Pa Ousmane Diouf. Dama search Pa Ousmane Diouf. Suñ ko accrédité wala ñu ne Pa Ousmane am na the certification then mun ngaa jaay yow land boo maa jaay su fekkee ne dañ ne dafa am record ma go into a system ma type in this land, this serial number, just like lease registration number, dinaa mun a xam ne lii lu wér la wala lu wérut. Then pare ñu try pour def nga xam ne doo daw si area council daw si physical planning daw si ministry suñ ko mënee centralize pare ñu ut a regulatory agency like ni nga amee pura ñu am loo xam ne dafa stand nga xam ne mooy look at all the places ñu make sure ne dinañ ko centralize and nañ dem the authority then I think ne loolu dina protect nit ñi dina protect nit ñi ñoo liggéey nga xam ne duñ leen ses luñ mënoon so wax ji yëpp I think that it has to be looked at holistically. Why? Man duma expert in this. I'm just one player in it. We have experts in this area. We created actually a session on real estate in the last TAFCON, and this was the objective. So ku bëgg a xam loolu soo demee suñ YouTube channel bi nga dégg ñi xam nga déglu luñ wax YouTube.
Okay.
So as I was saying, we invited all the stakeholders, including government, and really this is not just meant because we think we're going to give our ideas, but we wanted to create an environment where different experts can come in that have done these things over the world, that are Gambians and have the interest of Gambia at heart, and sit together and let's talk about these things. And then we actually open it up so the public also participates. They can tell their stories, ask questions, and when we are ready with this, we compile it.
A document.
We put it into a document, we circulate it in the public, and we also hand it over to government. This is what a leader, an industry leader does.
Yes.
And we are doing this. So when you say, what are you doing about it, about all these things you are learning, we are not only building it for Gambians to have access to it, but we are driving a conversation to create a solution around this. And I think that this is
so. But then that's the only function or place that you invited the government. There are no other meetings that you guys had with government in which these things were mentioned as far as because it's affecting you guys, it's affecting real estate agencies, it affects everybody in the country directly or indirectly, and you people are players in it. Don't you think as agencies you should be able to mobilize yourselves as well and then be able to engage government in some of these things as to what you think some of these solutions, because what you said makes a lot of sense actually.
Yeah, I mean, look, we cannot do it alone, but as leaders we can always look at many other ways. If I can tell you that we continue to seek ways where we can provide solutions. Government represents us, the people, not just one individual. And if government is successful, Gambians are successful. If government is not successful, Gambians are not successful. So we owe it to ourselves to always find ways to add solutions to the problem, whether we do it ourselves or engage the right authorities. And as our company, we always find ways to ensure that we engage government where we can move the country forward, not just in real estate, but in other aspects as well.
Thank you very much, Ousainou. I think it is a very fruitful discussion. I know you have a very busy schedule as well. We are talking about the land problems, and you've given us solutions as to what you think can be done as far as this situation is concerned. What will be your final words to our listeners and viewers?
I think just to thank you. I know that you are also doing your bit. You people in the media have a very important role to inform the population and create awareness. We welcome anytime we're given a platform to give share our input or at least speak our mind. I think my last word is to just say that I'm here in the US on a symposium, and it's really about creating awareness on land matters, housing matters, construction matters, whether you buy from tough or not. And I think we want Gambians to have the right information, so when it comes time to make this important decision, they're informed to do it the right way. We are well positioned to offer the right products, but at the end of the day, if a customer knows, then they know what's best for them, and they can decide where they go with it. If every Gambian that buys a house ends up not regretting it, whether you buy it from Tough or somewhere else, I think then we are successful in this symposium. So we want to thank all.
I was going to ask you before you finish the thanking. I mean, yes, I'm glad you mentioned it. You've been to Atlanta and Texas, and now you are in Seattle. How did it go? I mean, as far as Atlanta and Texas,
I think,
and Seattle actually, because you had all three forums. How did they go?
I think they can answer it better than I can, but I will tell you that almost every place that we've been to, we have been pleasantly surprised by the reception we have received. And people are saying that this is a life-changing event for them, because they have been thinking one thing towards housing, and they're hearing something very different that is going to shape how they look at housing. And so I think that was a huge accomplishment on our end.
So your goal is not to go back with, I mean, 10, 20, 50, 200 customers, but more so to more or less you want to be able to just create the awareness. But then,
no.
So you about 200 customers,
No, I think, look, what we believe is very simple. We believe that if you find solutions to people's problems, that will take care of your business.
Right.
And I think, obviously, we are a company and we want to sell houses and we want to sell our products. But I think if we are looking at it just from coming here to sell, then we're approaching it the wrong way. What we know is that the Gambians that are here work hard, and they need the type of information to help educate them on how to go about their buying needs. Once they know the right information, if they're ready to buy, then they're smart enough to look for the best thing for them. And I think if we provide it, they'll come to us. If we cannot provide it, they'll go somewhere else. So yes, we want to sell. If you want to buy a house from Tough, obviously we want you to come to us. But I think it's bigger than that for us. It's more about creating awareness, sensitizing Gambians so they don't get hurt. I lived in the diaspora for 18 years. I know what it is to live here, work hard, support your family, send money back home, and still trying to get a house. So the last thing you want is expect something else and end up getting something very different.
So is it only US, or you're going to other places around the world from here?
We started, actually when we started, it was going to be 3 states. We are going to Alaska next Saturday because there has been a lot of requests there. New York is also calling, we're talking to them. We have a tour that we plan to do in the summer in Europe as well. And so the idea is, if there's any Gambian anywhere in the world, and we can go there and reach them, we will do that at our own expense.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sosseh.
Thank you.
Yen ñuy déglu di ñu seetaan, you are following the Nyohobai show with Pa Ousmane Diouf. I'm sitting with Mr. Ousainou Sosseh, the regional manager for Tough Africa Global. He's here in Seattle, Washington. I hope you enjoyed this interview. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gambian Talents TV, our Facebook page, Gambian Talents Promotion. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, Gambian Talents Promotion. Thanks for watching the Nyohobai show. Till we come your way next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yéen a ngi seetaan face à face jàkkaarloo with Nyohobai, Pa Ousmane Diouf. Like I said earlier, we are here with Mr. Ousainou Sosseh, the regional manager for Tough Africa Global. Okay.
So as I was saying, we invited all the stakeholders, including government, and really this is not just...
Yéen a ngi seetaan face à face jàkkaarloo with Nyohobai, Pa
Man may topi kele, why kele mo sa nula? Kele, man la kele. mbëggeel la du dana sey yaa ngi may gënale sonn ngir kële dee na bes ñi kële dee ma xaar ma pulal kële dee tak si dee oo danga may gënale bépp mu ñal seet law oo bul may gënale kaaway kere yaa ma dàqal suukar man may toppi kere waaye kere moom sama noon la kaaway bébé yaa ma dàqal suukar man may toppi kere waaye kere moom sama noon la kaaway bébé yaa ma dàqal suukar man may toppi kere waaye kere moom sama noon la
jigéen ma ci gën a nopp mooy bi may taalal cuuraay bi xoolal di soli guune ey di guune lu xoolal boo soroo ba correct te soril ma suuf si sa fem sax du problème boo xoolee ne problème lay isi nga daw wax na bokkut ci séeri yaa ngi may gën a le ane bayil gën a le bul di may gën a le séeri yaa ngi may gën a le man mi daw na ngay gën a le ane bayil gën a le bul di gën a le ane bayil gën a le
yaa ma dàqal suukar man may toppi kere waaye kere moom sama noon la
regle na ak sonnale comme visa di regle na di porte na ak sonnale comme visa a nga gis ko tey di dee si tey di ko toppee comme visa nga moytul ma jigéen ju rafet ñu yor taaru kaani mu waana nga seet ko mu nice nga takku ko dugal ci kër ndax bëgg lu baax mu yàq sa xol na sa bakkan bu ñen la lu gis di la ñoo di si gis kon moytu ko baaxul bul di seet jigéen ba topp ko ne la jigéen ji bëgg nga topp ko ndax mat na la rab dine seytaane ko jigéen mooy ki jara jox cëram xoolal bu baax sax bëggal jigéen ji la bëgg ne lool bàyyi yow ki la bëggul da lay gaañ bëggal jigéen ji la bëgg ne lool bàyyi yow ki la bëggul da lay gaañ bëggal jigéen ji la bëgg ne lool bàyyi yow ki la bëggul da lay gaañ bëggal jigéen ji la bëgg ne lool bàyyi yow ki la bëggul da lay gaañ bëggal jigéen ji la bëgg neex lool bàyyi yow ki la bëggul da lay gaañ bëggal jigéen ji la bëgg neex lool bàyyi yow ki la bëggul da lay gaañ bëggal jigéen ji la bëgg neex lool bàyyi yow ki la bëggul da lay gaañ
Gambian Talent TV, in the pure conqueror puan, you like Gambian, Gambian Talent TV, in the pure conqueror fossa, you like Gambian, Gambian Talent TV, in the pure conqueror. You like Gambian, the bar and Gambian Talent TV, in the pale Kumbelingi, you like Gambian, the bar and Gambian Talent TV, the Chirkaro Lempuar, Kanyan in the wood.
Nega geseng yang ngonje mamoi ngotoy julolo fenne ka geseng yang ngonje mamoi fonde ma boy dindin faloli minni bali dun ni sanyoti lole boyda dindin ifulanti yang Gambia Talent Promotional fulanti yang itolle be jambe nyaato Gambia Talent Promotion mun tolle tati alingi makoy e ka Gambia la londo le pousse nyaato ni amoy Gambia Talent Promotion wala mandi ka kamola ka Gambia la londo sama nyaato ay wule ye Kogo nyongana bright sang nyongana yourself right for yourself for right for sorry. Gambian Talent TV always feel entertainment, comedy, news, anything.
Gambian Talent TV wato wati jannem alkanal bulo bondije ala bulkumba ka kan touch aliya jibe music comedy favorite yalla ko entertainment la ka do